During the height of the pandemic, Joe and I tried to watch Chernobyl, the television drama miniseries produced by HBO about the 1986 nuclear disaster. And we made it about 3/4 through the first episode, and I turned to Joe and said, I don't think I can take this. It was the wrong time to watch a story like that. There was so much devastation and death. The heroic efforts of frontline responders only to die themselves, alongside the wholesale mismanagement of incompetent leaders trying to contain a disaster. It made for difficult viewing. And this wasn't fiction. It was real. Unfortunately, it was all too real. Understandably, I longed for something uplifting, something a little less ominous and unsettling. In the middle of a pandemic, I'd hoped for television viewing with just a little less apocalypse. At the very least, I wanted a story where the good guys won. I desired things to be set right in the world. Call it wishful thinking. I think many people, like me, are looking for an end to the current imbalance. It's like the bad guys have been getting away with it for too long, and they must be stopped. It's time to expose the depravity and corruption and finally do something about the injustice in the world. It is offensive that big banks and corporations own governments and have the resources to make sure that nothing ever changes. It is despicable that a multi-trillion-pound industry has developed around instant dopamine releases, where profiteers who know exactly what they're doing cultivate addiction. And it is deplorable that it could be years before Vladimir Putin is ever brought to justice for war crimes, if he ever is. Fortunately, there is hope. Remember, our God is the God of righteousness. We can take comfort in God's goodness. God's nature is upright and fair. God brings order out of chaos. And there's a lot that needs sorting out right now. Butts to kick and righteous judgment to mete out. So, y'all, maybe let's save this prodigal son gospel for another day, huh? Like, I'm not sure that today's gospel strikes the right tone for right now. Because in it, the prodigal son doesn't pay for all the harm he's done and all the dissolute living he's engaged in. Instead of what he deserves, this lucky so-and-so receives prejudicial absolution. I guess it pays to know the right people, huh? With good family connections. Because none of what he did wrong seems to matter. And it does matter. Now, it's not that people like me don't want to see good things happen to others. Most of us would love to see that happen, nothing more than to see that happen. It's not that I don't like kindness. Bring on more of it. But in the end, if being a jerk doesn't come with consequences, what chance is there for justice? Carelessness and selfishness come at a price, and the person who pays that price shouldn't be the victim. It should be those who break the rules. Cast out the wicked, O God, and shower your people, the ones who are righteous, the people who deserve it. Well, if that's the show you're looking for, you better grab the remote, because that's not the program that's on. It may be hard to watch, because in it, God is offering love to people who perhaps don't deserve it. God defies the rules of fairness with enormous compassion. God's forgiveness is doled out to the cheater, the self-seeking, the predatory, and the malevolent. The God revealed in this parable stretches out arms wide in welcome. And our protestations and foot stampings at the injustice of this generosity, well, they may feel like a greater call for greater integrity and fairer dealings, but they're vain assertions. Because the truth is, this may be what heaven looks like. It may be filled with the most offensive types of people. Are we ready for that? Can we stomach to go to a party where forgiveness is showered so freely? A celebration where the unkind are crowned with compassion? Perhaps we, like the elder son, will resent that too much and refuse to go in. But as we stand outside, who are we hurting? Does our righteous indignation satisfy our thirst for justice? Have we shown God? God's love may upset us, but this is what God's love looks like. It isn't to say there's no justice, no repentance in the Lord, but our version of what that looks like is our version. What God's looks like, what God's version looks like, is a prayer from the cross, pleading, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. God's heart is much broader than the measure of the mind. When the world is put to rights, it will be tuned to pardon and peace, not conflict and division. Would that we knew that now. Would that we could stand to see it.